أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما أجمعين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to LQ Milton class number 73. Inshallah, we'll begin lesson number 25 today. We're going to start learning about weak verbs from here on. Before we begin our lesson today, I just want to remind ourselves today after Fajr, Sheikh Riyad he mentioned something about three types of zikr of Allah. He was talking about it. It was a nice talk that he gave, but then in that small talk he mentioned about the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he mentioned three types of zikr, right? One zikr, he said, is through our tongue, when we do the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by tongue. The second type of zikr he mentioned is zikr from heart, when we do the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by heart. He said, but the best type of zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we should really enjoy, is when there is a coordination between tongue and the heart. Both are involved. That is the best zikr, and that state cannot be achieved until we understand what we are reciting. Simple as that. We can keep reciting, inshallah we will get Allah will listen and we will get the rewards, or through the heart, but when both are in sync, then this is the best type of zikr, and that is not achieved until we understand what we are saying, because now we are paying attention and it's impacting our heart directly. This is a small little reminder for all of us, so that it is gone in the recording. Weak verbs. In the previous classes, we'll keep it very simple, okay, because there are too many rules, there are too many twists and turns when it comes to the weak verb, but we try to keep everything simple so that we have enough knowledge, or we have enough knowledge when it comes to the Quran. With practice, we should be able to understand the Quran. So, weak verbs. What are weak verbs? There are three letters in Arabic language which are weak in nature. Remember that. Okay, it's very simple. What are those? Alif, waw, and ya. Okay. When these letters alif, waw, or ya, they enter into a verb, very simple. When these three letters enter into a verb, it will make that verb weak. That's it, right? Fi'l sulasi mujarrid, the sound three letter verbs like daraba, nasara, samaya, right? We don't find any of these three letters. They are sound letters, the sound verbs. But when these three letters enter into a verb, it will make that verb weak. Now, when the letter becomes weak, then the conjugation will start changing. We'll learn about the conjugation of the weak verb in the later classes, but I'm just giving some information right now so that mentally we are prepared. Now, these weak letters that I mentioned can in a verb we have 3 letters, right? Fa kalima, ain kalima and lam kalima, right? So, these 3 weak letters can come as a fa kalima, these 3 weak letters can come as an ain kalima, and these 3 weak letters can come as lam kalima. Okay, lam kalima. Grammarians, they have provided specific terms when according to the position of these letters, whether they are fa kalima, ain kalima or lam kalima. Right now, today, just for our understanding, when the weak letters are coming as an ain kalima, it is called al ajwaf. Al-ajwafu, al-ajwaf. Al-ajwaf mean the middle part, and we know ain kalima is in the middle, coming in the middle, right? Do you have to remember this term? Not necessarily, but you know, just for the learning perspective. Al-ajwaf. Now, whenever there is an alif coming in the verb, technically there is either a waw or a ya hiding behind it. We have learned these things before, so this is just a repetition for us, right? So, whenever, for example, qala is al ajwaf, qala is ajwaf because alif is coming in the middle as an ain kalima, but technically whenever alif comes, it has either the waw or a ya hiding behind it, and at some point this alif will vanish and then the original waw or a ya will manifest itself. These are the things if you see the previous lectures, we have already talked about, but this is just a repetition. How do we know what is behind this alif? Always, right? So, there are 2 ways. Most of the time I would say 98% of the time, when we make the mudare, the original letter behind the alif, either a waw or a ya, will manifest itself. Most of the time, I would say 98%, 97%, I am just giving it a number, right? I don't know, but most of the time. When we make the mudare, qala yaqulu. So, you see, I don't see alif here. Waw is replacing alif because technically qala was qawala. The masdar, the original was qawala. So, either waw or a ya we can find when we make a mudare, or we have to go to the masdar original to know what is the original letter behind it, because alif technically most in grammarian they say alif is just an indication, it is not a letter in Arabic. Hamza is one, right, but alif is not a letter technically. Okay, that's what the grammarian says. So, there's always a waw or a ya hiding behind it. Qawala becomes qala and yaqulu. So, for qala, either we make the mudare or we go to the masdar, we will find the waw. So, we know waw is hiding behind the alif. Okay. Zada, yazidu. Now zada is alif is coming ajwaf in the middle. When I make the mudare become yazidu, that means the ya was hiding behind the alif. Zara, yazuru. Zara means he visited. Yazuru. Now waw was hiding behind the alif. When I make the mudare, the waw will come and manifest itself and say, I don't need you anymore. Or if I go to the masdar, zavira, you know. So that is why we are understanding it, because these things will come in the Quran. Right? Sometimes the masdar will come, sometimes the weak verbs will come. Okay. We'll keep it very simple and high level. Okay, so we understand what this is. Now, when I say either there is a waw or a ya hiding behind the alif, there are two ways of finding it. Either we make the mudare or we go to the masdar to get the original letter that is hiding behind the alif. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes when we make the mudare, the actual letter will not manifest itself. There is a great deal of debate and rules which are explained by Dr. Saab and everything, but I'm not going into it. A very simple, high level. Okay. Sometimes some verbs are al-ajwaf, alif is between, but when we make the mudare from them, the original letter will not manifest itself, but if we go to the masdar, then we will find that letter, and that happens in bab samea. There are different babs, and let's not go into that detail. Okay. For example, zala, yazalu, khafa, yakhafu, nama, yanamu. You see, these are all ajwaf. Are they ajwaf? Yes. But when I am making the mudare, the original letter that is hiding behind the alif is not manifesting itself. So don't get confused. But if I go to the masdar, then I will find it, the original. Khafa yakhafu khawfun. Nama yanamu, nama naumun or navima. So you see, waw is there. So not necessarily, and this scenario happens in bab samea. If you remember, if we remember this thing, fine. If we don't remember it, don't worry, right? But just to keep us not get confused when we are reciting the Quran, sometimes if we see a mudare, comes in, but I see an alif there in the mudare in the middle. I'm thinking like, isn't it supposed to be a waw or a ya, because this is a weak verb? Then remember, there are situations where that can happen. Okay, so let's not get confused by it. Very simple. ठीक है शरीर भाई? Okay, very good. Today we are going to understand and learn about two very important verbs for the purpose of understanding the Quran. Okay, these verbs almost on every page of Quran, either we will find these verbs qala or kana on every page in one way or another, many times. So just by understanding these two, and there is a reason we chose kana and kala, because there is a little bit difference between the two. I'll explain it in a moment. On every page of Quran, either we will find kala or kana, either in different forms. Kana in 14 pronouns, in our different 14 pronouns we will find it. Wais qala lil malaikati, qulna, qultu, qala, qalu, right? Kanu, kana, kunna, kunta, kuntu, like all of these 14 types are repeated in Quran all the time. So when we start reciting the Quran, these verbs when they come in, immediately we should be able to understand it. Now, what did I say? Qala is al ajwaf, a weak verb. Is kana ajwaf? No. A special case. See, this is a special case. Kana is called felu naqis. Okay, and this is only the case with kana, and there are sisters of kana too. Just like inna, we have sisters of inna, right? Kana has sisters too. Zala is a sister of kana, actually, just to let you know. Zala is a sister of kana too. Now, why am I saying? It's very important that we understand this thing, right? Because since these two verbs comes in the Quran all the time, so we should be able to identify kana, the difference between kana and kala, and see for the difference when it comes in the Quran. Verbs, when a verb comes, what are we looking for? What is the meaning of kala? He said, right? He said. What is the action? Action of saying, right? Action of saying. Where is the tense? Past tense. Who's the doer of the action? Huwa, he. And qala, qala, qalu, qalat, all of them I can actually identify the doer of the action. The doer of the action, right? And the action is of saying. So this is ajwaf. But what is the meaning of kana? The meaning of kana, he was or he became. Right. Both are correct, depending on the context of the ayah. When we translate it, either it is he was or he became. Now tell me, when I say he was, what is the action? There is no action. That is why we are calling it felu naqis, right? So when it's felu naqis, he was, there is no action. If there is no action, is there a doer of the action? No, there is no doer. So that is the difference between kala and kana. Kala is a proper weak verb. It has an action, the doer of the action, and the tense. Kana, all kana has is the tense. No action and no doer of the action. It's a verb. It's a verb. He was. But my mind is wondering, he was what?
Can we, instead of he was, to understand it better, can
yes.
we say he happened to be?
He happened to be. He happened to be.
It is a verb, but it doesn't happen to be what?
Exactly. So kana min al kafirin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the shaitan when he refused to obey the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He becomes kana min al kafirin. He became, or he was, becomes, he becomes among the disbelievers, right? So when it comes to, it's important to understand the difference, because these two are frequently used, and we have to. So when it comes in the Quran, we should be able to pick up the things. So when I say he was, kana, he was, right? So then, what I'm looking for, there is somebody, he became something, or he was something, or something happened. So I'm looking for ismu kana. So remember, after kana always comes ismu kana. And that ismu kana, ism, a noun will come. Either the noun ismu kana will be hidden, mustatir, just like in qala is mustatir, or it is there, present in the ayah. There always going to be an ism present for kana, and that ism will be marfu. We'll do the examples, don't worry. Okay, that ism will be marfu, and then there will be khabar kana, the predicate, right? To completely understand the context, he was, who was, and what was the predicate, what was the khabar, what he became. Ismu kana will tell us who was, and then khabar will tell us who he became, or he was what, or whom, or what happened. So so we have to, whenever kana comes in any of these forms, either in a fail madi or in a fail mudare, we will look for the ism kana and the khabar kana. And khabar kana, Shajil bhai, we know are of 5 types. So those khabars or the predicate can come in any of the 5 forms: mufrad, jar majroor, zarf, or jumla ismiya, or jumla failiya. Okay, so that's why it's important, because when kala comes is the file, we have to find the file, but we don't have to have a khabar kala, because an action, a verb is, minimum requirement is fail and file, or the mafulun bihi might be present for kala. He said what, or so file will can be there, or maful will be there, maful can be there, fail, file, and maful, the normal sequence. But with kana is fail naqis, ism kana, and khabar kana. So remember that. Actually this is good: kala, fail, file, maful, kana, fail, ism kana, khabar kana. Remember that. Okay, remember kala, fail, file, maful, the normal sequence: kana, fail naqis, ism kana, and khabar kana. And kana has some sisters. Zala is also the sister of kana. Now when I say kana, so now that we have established or understood the difference between kala and kana, so let's do a small little drill for understanding. It's very important, because our focus is to understand the Quran. Alhamdulillah. Kala, where is the we'll do a comparative analysis. Kala, where is the file? Mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa. Kana, ismu kana, where is ismu kana? Mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa. Okay, ismu kana. Now sometimes, can the file for kala be in the ayah? Yes, if there is an ism which is marfu, then we will say it is the file of qala Allahu, Allah said. Allahu will become the file. But when we say kana Allahu, Allah was. Innahu kana tawwaban. Tawaban is the khabar kana, and khabar kana is mansoob. Remember that. Oh, this is good, Inam bhai. Let's try to understand it. For kana, the ism kana is marfu and the khabar kana is mansoob. So when I say kana, innahu kana, kana Allahu tawabun, don't say tawabun, tawaban or tawaba, because tawaba is mufrad khabar and khabar kana is mansoob. Tawaba. Now innahu kana tawwaba. Kana Allahu ghafuran rahiman. We don't say ghafurun rahimun, we don't say that. We say kana Allahu ghafuran rahiman. And that actually reminds me something. Nambai, can you write kana Allahu ghafuran rahiman? It's very somewhere. This is a good segue of understanding. Ghafuran Rahiman, the most forgiving and the most merciful, right? The most forgiving and the most merciful. Now let's talk about so the handwriting we see, it's basically Inam Bhai's, not mine. It's not my product.
Maybe that also, you said verb, file, fail, maf'ul, and kana.
Ism kana and khabar kana.
That is also a good formula to remember, right?
Yeah. It just came to me right now. I mean, when I was, it's a good formula to remember. Qala is fail, file, and maf'ul, and kana, ism kana, and khabar kana. And ism kana is actually they follow too, because file is marfu and ism kana is marfu. Maf'ul is mansub, khabar kana is mansub. So they both actually are very similar in nature. The only difference is the action is absent in kana. That's why we call deficient fe'lu naqis or deficient verb. Okay. So when I say qala, I'll come to that. Okay. Qala, where is the file? Alif. Kana, where is the ism kana? Alif. So instead of saying the file, we say ism kana. We don't say file, we say ism kana and khabar kana. And we know the difference why we are calling it fe'lu naqis, because the action is not present there, right? He was or he became. Now, kana Allahu Ghafuran Rahiman. Kana comes with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. What is the meaning of this? Kana Allahu. Kana means he was. Where is the ismu kana? Allahu. Where is the khabar kana? Ghafuran Rahiman. Why mansub? Because they are khabar kana, right? What is the meaning of it? Allah was most forgiving and most merciful. What does that mean? Was. Why am I saying was? Was Allah the most merciful and the most forgiving and the most merciful in the past? Not anymore. Remember one thing, when kana in any of its form comes with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it becomes eternal truth. This is an exception. No other exception other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when it comes to kana. That it is established. He was the most forgiving and the most merciful in the past, the most forgiving and most merciful now, and the most forgiving and most merciful in the future ever. Past continuous. Yeah, we can say past continuous if that's what. So this is a fact and has been established, just like lam, when we understood the lam. Infinity will come when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we are talking about kana, right? So don't make that mistake when we say kana Allah was, and then somebody will try to know this is an exception. Qala, he said. Qala, two of them said. Qalu, they said. Qalu comes in the Quran all the time. Qalat, she said. Qalata, two of them, feminine, said. Qulna, they said, feminine. Qulta, you said. Qultuma, two of them. You see, qala, and then suddenly the fa kalima got the dhamma. We'll go to that detail later, because this is actually bab nasara and we don't have to worry about it. As long as we can identify the kala form in Quran, that's good enough for us. And we know what the action is, we know who's the file is, that's good enough. I don't have to try and identify kala is from bab nasara yansuru, kala yaqwalu, and then no, we don't. We just keep it simple. Qulta, you said. Qultuma, two of you, masculine, they said. Qultum, you all, more than two, they said. Qulti, you said, she, singular. Qultuma, qultunna, you all, feminine, said. Qultu, I said. Qulna, we said. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wa is qulna lil malaikatis jadu li adama fasajadu illa iblis. It's qulna, right? So qulna. So kunna, the any form of the qala will come in the Quran almost on every page, either in a madi form or in a mudari form. So we know where the file is. Qala yaqulu, he says. Where is the file? Mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa. Yaqulani, two of them says. Yaquluna comes on the Quran all the time. They say, third person, plural. Where is the file? Wow. Is it marfu? Yes. It is marfu, yes. Where is the sign of it being marfu? Noon. We have done it, right? Taqulu, she says. Taqulani, two of them, feminine, says. Yaqulna, they say, feminine, plural. Taqulu, you say. Taqulani, taquluna, taqulina, you say, feminine, singular. Taqulani, taqulna, taqulna, they all say feminine, right? Plurals. Aqulu, I say. Naqulu, we say. So I would say memorize the madi form and the mudare form, because we will find them in any shape and form in the Quran most of the time. And the third but not the least is the fi'l amr. Fi'l amr is also used in Quran for qala and in other as well. Qul we know. Qul huwallahu ahad. Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas. Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq. So qul comes. Qul, qula, qulu, quli, qula, qulna. 6 of them. Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. Second person. Because order can only be done, direct order, not indirect. Direct order can only be done to a second person. And there is a way, like how do we drive to amr? That's another topic. I think we have already done it. We'll do it other time. How taqulu becomes qul and taqulani becomes qula, and then taquluna becomes qulu, and then taqulina becomes quli, and then taqulani becomes qula, and taqulna becomes qulna. Right? We can do that surgery. I think we know we can do it other time. Kana, we spend about half an hour. That's okay, because these are very important verbs, right? So we can take our time. We don't have to finish the lesson 25 today. Kana, he was. Ismu kana, mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa. But here, where is the ismu kana? Allahu, marfu. Kana, kanu, he was, they were, 2 of them. Kanu, they were, third person, plurals, more than 2. Kanu comes in the Quran, they became. Right? Is there an example? I can bring it. Kanat, kanata, kunna, kunta, you were or you became. Kuntuma, 2 of you, masculine, became or were. Kuntum, why is kuntum? I forgot the an example of kuntum. Inni kuntum jazakallah. Inni kuntum minaz zalimin. Rabbana zalamna anfusana. La ilaha illa anta. That is another. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu. I became, or I will become, or I was minaz zalimin, among the transgressors. Kuntu.
You need an example of kana or kana? I can find you that.
Kanu. Now think about La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. Kuntu, where is there some kana? Tu. Tu is the ism kana. Right? Where is the khabar kana? Min az-zalimin. Jarun wa majrurun shibbu jumla khabar. Is it mansub? Yes, it is mansub because it is khabar kana. Khabar kana. Khabar kana. Mansub. Right? Khabar kana. Mansub. Min az-zalimin. So this is how we differentiate it. Right? Because kana, when it comes alone, it's a deficient verb. It does not have the action. We need it to be supported by ism kana and the khabar kana to make a complete sense of the ayah. Right? Kuntuma, kuntunna, kuntu, kunna, we were or we became. Right? So the target is, whenever we have the chance and we are reciting Quran or listening, we should try and identify the derivatives of kala and kana, and then think about it for a second. Where is the khabar kana? Where is the ism kana? Kala? Where is the file? Kamran bhai, you were asking this morning. This is the this is how we practice, right? Ji na bhai.
Example in Surah Naba. Innahum kanu la yarjuna hisaba.
Innahu kanu
La yarjuna.
la yarjauna hisaba. Did you not?
Indeed,
They were not expecting it to be returned.
To an account.
Oh, hisaba is mansub. Yeah. For accountability, hisaba is your khabar kana. They were not expecting it. Indeed, innahum they were innahum kanu la yarjuna hisaba. Kana yakunu, yakunani, yakununa, takunu, takunani, yakunna, takunu, takunani, takununa, takunina, takunani. Same conjugation. Takunani, takunna, akunu, nakunu. Kana, he was. Yakunu, he is. Present tense, or he will, right? Because it's mudare. Yeah, it's a mudare, right? So the meaning will change, but then the ism kana and the khabar kana we will still find out, right? Kala, he said. Yaqulu, he says. Kana, he was. Yakunu, he is. And now we're talking about or a flavor of future as well. Takunu, kun, to become, right? Kun, fayakun, he orders, so yakun, it is. Yakunu, yakun, it is. Fayakun. Kuna, kunu, kuni, and kuna, kunna. These are the amr. So memorize. Kiradatan khasi'in. Kunu. Amar. Wow is the ism kana. I don't say fail kana. So next time if I say fail kana, interrupt me and say no, it's ism kana. Right? If I say by mistake fail, no, it's ism kana. And then we talked about zala, yazalu, khafa, yakhafu, nama, yanamu. This is an exception. We have to go to the masdar to find out. And then when it comes to kana Allahu ghafuran rahiman. It becomes an eternal truth. So let's begin lesson number 25. It's page number 167 of the old book. Lesson number 25. Al-Mudarris. Aina Anwaru ya Umar. What is the meaning? Where is Anwar, O Umar? Umar said, La adri, I don't know. Dara yadri, 5 in your pocket, yadri, tadri, tadri, adri, nadri. Adri, I don't know. Right? La is the harfun nafi, I don't know. Ra'ituhu, I, how many words in Ra'ituhu? 3. Ra'a, tu, and hu. Tu is your file, who is the maf'ulun bihi. I saw him. Right? Fail, file, and maf'ulun bihi, all 3 of them is in ra'ituhu. Ra'i, tu. What is the verb? Ra'a. He saw. But when we join the file, then the ya without the dots will become complete ya. It's not alif maqsura anymore, it becomes the complete ya. We'll do the conjugation of ra someday. Ra'itu, I saw whom? Who? Him. Qabla qalilin, a little while ago. Kana, no, oh, kana comes. Kana waqifan kharijal fasli. Now, what is kana? He was. He was. Where is the he was? But there is no action there, right? How do I get the action? First of all, I have to find the ism kana. Where is the ism kana? Mustatir taqdiruhu huwa. So we're talking about he was. That's why I said he was. And then where is the khabar? Khabar kana? Waqifan mansoob. He was standing. Now comes the action. Now comes the khabar. Now comes the predicate. Now comes the news about. He was waqifan, standing. Kharijal fasli, outside the class. Kharijal fasli. Why kharija is mansoob here? Kharij, kharaja yakhriju. Kharaja yakhriju, kharijun. But this is kharij, this is mansoob because this is, and you have to remember it, that's fine. This zarf, summed by 100 points. This kharija is coming as a zarf. This kharija is coming as a zarf. So zarf are mansoob, right? Because what is zarf? An adverb of time or an adverb of place. So the adverb of place, where he was, outside, the place was outside. So khariju, and this is also a mudaf. So I don't say kharijun, I say khariju, or once it becomes a zarf, it becomes kharija, because it's a mansoob, and al fasli is a mudaf alayh. Al Mudarris said, Kaifa halu ammarin al ana ya Sa'du. Kaifa halu ammarin. How is Ammar now? Al ana ya Sa'd, O Sa'd. Kana, now we have to focus on kana now. Kana maridan munzu usbu'in. Kana, where is the khabar? No, where is the ism kana? Mustatir taqdiruhu huwa. Right? Because I don't see any ism which is marfu in this sentence, so that's why it is mustatir kana. He was sick. Maridan, khabar kana, mansoob. He was sick. Munzu, which is your harf jar. Usbu'in, since 1 week. A week. 1 week. Saad said, La yazalu. Now, what is the meaning of zala? The meaning of zala is to end, to terminate, to cease. To terminate, to cease, to end. That's what the meaning of zala yazalu. So when I say la yazalu, that means he continues to. He continues to, or he is still. So when he say la yazalu, he is still. He continues to maridan. Remember I said there are sisters of kana. So zala is the sister of kana. So with zala, I also have to look for ism zala and khabar zala. It's good information. I don't know if this comes in the Quran or not, but maybe somewhere, I don't know, but this is a good good for our understanding. So maridan is your khabar zala, mansub. He continues to be sick. He continues to be, he is still sick. Ya fazilata shaykhi, O honorable Shaykh. Al Mudarris said, Sami'tu. I heard. Annahu, that he. Yuridu, wants to. He wants to. Ain yatruka. Yatruka. What is ain yatruka? Al masdar al muawwal. Anybody remembers? We already, I heard, Sami'tu annahu, that he, yuridu, wants to leave. हाँ बिल्कुल है, of course. I heard what? I heard what? Jumla ismiya coming as a khabar for Sami'tu, I heard. Maqulul qal, annahu, anna, that, who, he is your ismu anna mansub. Ismu anna mansub. And then where is the khabar anna? Jumla failure coming as a khabar anna. Yuridu an yatruka. And exactly an yatruka, he wants what? Is that what you're getting at? Yeah, this is how he wants exactly. The mafulun bihi is an yatruka, al masdar al muawwal, because we can use the masdar as well, or we can use al masdar al muawwal. What is an? Harfu masdarin wa nasbin. Remember Shajil bhai? Yeah. And then it will make the fail, and it will be followed by fail mudare, and that fail mudare will be mansub. Al masdar. He wants what? An yatruka, to leave. Al masdar al muawwal fi mahalli nasbin mafulun bihi for yuridu. But yatruka, he wants to leave what? Al jamiata. Now this al jamiata is coming as a mafulun bihi for yatruka. If we understand this thing, alhamdulillah, this is going to sharpen our mind. Al jamiata is coming as the mafulun bihi for yatruka. Wa yarji'a, and he returns ila baladihi, to his country. Inamba, are you looking for an example for zala in the Quran? You found one?
Yeah.
What is it? We'll see.
There are two. One is Surah Hajj and
Wala yazalu allazina kafaru. So zala yazalu comes in the Quran, right?
And then there is another one.
And there is another one. Kafaru. Oops. La yazalu bainahumul lazi. This is Surah Tawbah. So la yazalu, continues to. Bainahum, yeah, the building which they not cease, or they continues to be.
Right.
So it does comes in the Quran. It does come.
Forms, other types are also.
Other types as well. So now it's important for us to understand. Jazakallah Namba. Now it's important for us to understand zala. Zala comes in the Quran. Zala means to cease, to end, or to cease to be, or to end, or to terminate. In those forms, like we were trying to translate a verb from Arabic to English, so we can use different. And yazalu will becomes is in mudare form, continues to be, continues to cease. But when you say la yazalu, no, still or continues to be, because la is the harfu nafi. So Al Mudarris said, وَيَرْجِعَ إِلَى بِلَادِهِ, and he returns to his country. Asahiyun haza, is this correct? Saad said, La haza ghairu sahihin. No, that is not correct. Al Mudarris said, Maza ya'malu abuka ya Ibrahim. Maza ya'malu, amala ya'malu. He works. What does he do? Abuka, what does your father does? Ya Ibrahim, O Ibrahim. Maza ya'malu, what does he work? What does he do? Abuka, your father, O Ibrahim. Sametu, I heard, annahu wazirun, that he is a minister. Ibrahim said, now Kana comes. See, we are focusing on Kana here. Ibrahim said, Kana waziran. Kana waziran. He was minister. Where is the ismu Kana? Mustatir. Taqdiruhu huwa. Where is the khabar Kana? Waziran. Now it makes sense, right? He was the minister. Now when I say he was minister, is there an action there? No, there is no action there. So that means it's a fail naqis, deficient verb. See, this is the difference we are trying to find between Qala and Kana, or any other verb versus Kana. Because whether he said Kana waziran, he was the minister, but there is no action there, right? So that's why we call it deficient, fail naqis. Qabla sanataini, 2 years ago. Huwa alana safirun, he is ambassador now. Al Mudarris said, wa maza ya'malu abuka ya umru, and what does your father do, O Amru? Qala, he said, li ahadu, one of your, okay, ahadu, ahadu is your file. Ahadu is your file. So ahadu zumalaika, one of your colleague said to me, what? Innahu mudarrisun, that he is a teacher. That he is a teacher, right? Amru said, Kana mudarrisan. Oh, Kana comes. Kana mudarrisan, he was a teacher. Min qablu, from before. Wahuwa al ana, and he is now mufattishun, inspector fil madarasil sanaviyati. He is inspector. Mutaffishun means inspector in secondary schools. Al Mudarris said, wa maza ya'malu abuka ya Yaqub. Now he is asking all the students what their father does. What does your father do, O Yaqub? Yaqub said, Kana shurtiyan, he was a police officer. Yeah, shurtiyan. Shurtiyan is your khabar Kana. Huwa al ana mutaqaidun, he is now retired. Al Mudarris said, Ya Abu Bakrin, O Abu Bakr, qulta li. Al Mudarris said to Abu Bakr, qulta li, you said to me, qabla salasi sanawatin, 3 years ago, inna abaka amidu kulliyatil handasati, that your father is the dean of faculty of engineering. Simple translation, huh? We don't do the analysis. Mutaqaidun huwa alana, is he retired now? Mutaqaidun huwa alana, is he retired now? Important thing is to spot the Kana and then feel the difference, right? Abu Bakr said, La, harful jawab, La. Then come La yazalu amidan. La yazalu amidan. What is the meaning of Zala? To end, to cease, to terminate, right? When I say La yazalu, that means he is still, continues to be, continues, right? Where is the ism yazalu? Mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa. Where is the khabar yazalu? Amidan, he continues to be the dean. Amidun deen, and amidan is mansub because it is khabar kana, and khabar kana is mansub, and it is what kind of khabar is that? Mufrad. Al mudarris said ya akhtaru. We'll just finish the lesson and then we'll do the exercises in Al mudarris said ya akhtaru sami'tu, I heard, anna, that, akhaka, your brother, tabibun shahirun, is a famous doctor, wa ya'tihi al marda, and comes to him patients, min jami'i anha'il Pakistana, from all corners of Pakistan. Asahihun haza, is that correct? I don't know what mudarris is getting into. Why is he asking these questions? Akhtar said, Naam, yes, haza sahihun ya fazilat al-shaykhi, this is correct, oh honorable shaykh. Then he's probably looking for some opportunities, maybe. Yeah, or yeah. Al mudarris said, ya Usman, O Usman, izhab. Izhab. Now immediately my mind goes, this is an amr, because it is majzum, right? This is a majzum. So he's ordering Usman now, izhab, go. Ila al maktabati, to the library, wahati, and bring al juz'a as salisa min lisanil arabi, and bring the third volume from lisanil arab. Lisanil arab is the dictionary. Lisanil Arabi is the dictionary. Hashim said, Ya fazilat al-shaykhi, O honorable shaykh, azunnu, zanna yuzunnu, 5 in your pocket, tazunnu, tazunnu, azunnu, nazunnu. I think, anna, that, lisan al-arabi mu'jamun, lisan al-arabi is the dictionary. Abu Dharr said, Naam, yes, huwa ma'jamun, kabirun, it's a big dictionary, fi Ishrina juz'an, with 20 volumes. It's a big dictionary, it's very famous, right, with 20 volumes. Hashim said, liman huwa ya fazilat al-shaykhi. Now liman, when and this is something we learned, when liman comes in the context of the book, that means who's the writer, from whom, who wrote, or who's the author. Who's the author? Liman huwa, who's the author? Ya liman huwa ya fazilat al-shaykhi, who's the author, because we are talking about lisan al-arabi, right, the dictionary, the book. Al mudarris said, huwa libni manzurin, huwa libni manzurin, the author is, he is libni manzurin. Yarji Usmana, Usman returns. Usman said, al maktabatu, the library, mughlaqatun, is closed. Al ana, now, ya shaykh, o shaykh, yaquluna, they say, yaquluna, they say, innaha. Now this is something we learned, and it may come in the Quran, it will come in the Quran. Inna or anna, they're both sisters, right? Anna comes in the middle of the sentence, inna comes in the beginning of the sentence. We learned that concept, right? So that's we learned that concept. The only exception is whenever there is qala or any derivative of qala comes, after that we don't use anna, we use inna. Remember that. Yeah. Who's the author?
But the answer, it says huwa libni
manzur. Libni manzur.
What is that?
Libni is the name. Libni manzurin. Ibni manzur. Manzur. It is. Ibn Manzur is the name. Is the name of the author. Name of the. Ibn Manzur is the name. Yeah. Name of the author. Yeah. Yeah. So the only exception is whenever there is qala or any derivative of qala, we don't use anna, we use inna, right? So yaquluna, they say, innaha, indeed it is, kanat maftuhatan, it was open, ila saatil ashirati, till 10 o'clock, at 10 o'clock. Al mudarris said, ya Abbas, O Abbas, qul, say. Usman smart hai. Al-Mudarris said, Ya Abbas, O Abbas, Qul li akhika, say to your brother, Allazi, the one who, Yadrusu fis sanati saniyati, who is study in the third year, Yatini ghadan, to come to me tomorrow, ghadan. Abbas said, Sa'aqulu lahu inshallah. Sa'aqulu, I will say. Seen comes. What is seen? Harfu istiqbal. See, now we learned this, so we can. So he says Sa'aqulu, I will say. So this aqulu, qala, yaqulu, aqulu. But when we add the seen, harfu istiqbal, that in becomes the meaning will be in future, because seen is the particle of futurity. So near future. Yeah. So aqulu, I will say lahu, to him, inshallah, if Allah wills. Insha'Allah, if Allah wills. And then just before we end this class, when we say inshallah, remember that it is a conditional sentence. If Allah wills, what is in? If, sha'Allah. So that means if it's a conditional sentence, then where is the condition? Most of the time when we say inshallah, just very casually inshallah and just move on. Will you come to me inshallah and just move on? No, it's a conditional. So whatever is asked or whatever that needs to be done, and we are saying inshallah is the condition for, so both are connected. Shart and jawabu shart. So inshallah is the shart and jawabu shart is Saqulu lahu, I will tell him. So me telling, or the Abbas telling to his brother is dependent on if Allah wills. So there is a connection between shart and jawabu shart. Most of the time we miss this part, and do we take these alhamdulillah, inshallah, mashallah, so casually and sometimes in a joking manner. Don't do that. Mashallah, and then start laughing. No, don't do that. They are very powerful phrases. They have deep meaning behind it, and there's so much to learn about these phrases.
We even say mashallah sometimes while we are
criticizing something or making someone or something. Pardon me, but yeah, that is true. If you want to ward something off or just get rid of something, inshallah, and then we just move on.
So we should say inshallah only
when we mean it.
When we are sure.
We are sure we mean it, and mashallah, then we should be like qawlun sadidun, truthful. When we are truthful about the action or the shart, or mashallah, we really mean. If we are praising somebody or we are saying whatever Allah wills, mashallah, we should really feel. This is exactly what we started in the beginning of the coordination between the tongue and the heart, because these are the zikr of Allah, right? Inshallah, mashallah, or alhamdulillah. So unfortunately we don't understand it. We just simply say it. We don't connect our tongues to our heart and then mean what we are saying. Whatever Allah wills. If I see somebody beautiful car, then I say mashallah, like Allah made it, mashallah, whatever Allah wills, Allah made it beautiful. So I'm giving the credit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So I should actually feel it. Don't just use the tongue. This is what we talked about in the beginning of the lesson. We'll stop here, inshallah. Our time is done. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha, laha ma kasabat wa alayha maktasabat. Rabbana la tu'akhizna in nasina wa akhtana. Rabbana wa la tahmil alayna isran kama hamaltahu ala allazina min qablina. Rabbana wa la tuhammilna ma la taqata lana bih, wa'fu anna waghfir lana warhamna anta maulana fansurna alal qawmil kafirin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.